no security, people will run away. It happened to us at the height of kidnapping. Aba was deserted. You wouldn't believe that. You're a living witness. At least you come home on daily basis. Aba was deserted. All the factories were left, abandoned. Their owners abandoned, the workers abandoned their factories, and they were, going to Abuja, going to Lagos, going to places that are safer than Aba. That is an idea of what insecurity can breed. That time, contractors cannot work. You give a contractor, please go and work on this road. You go there and they'll come and kidnap their workers. They will abandon. Give their go away with their machines. At times they will abandon their machines and go away to save their life. So nothing works if there is insecurity. And that was what wanted to confront us. I said, no, as a government, we are a responsible government. It is our function to fight insecurity and put in anything, everything that we have. It's a capital intensive something. We injected money into security, spent a lot of money, and our people were determined. Every person cooperated. Those who were there giving us information, the security agencies were wonderful, government was also wonderful, supported them. And eventually, today, the difference is clear. Those Kanku you talked about was a terror. It was a terror in Abia. Terrorizing every person, kidnapping every person, maiming people and killing them. And when the security agencies confronted him, he resisted. And in the exchange of fire, they gunned him down. Because he resisted, he knew what he could have faced if he was captured alive. And when he was gunned down, that became a signal to his boys he trained, all of them in the bush. They started running away. Because when the general is down, the army is demoralized. So when he was killed, those his boys who drew power from him were demoralized, and they started running away, running to other states, and running away from Abia. And now we intensified our efforts. Until all of them ran away. The remnants that we are seeing now are the hardened criminals who don't want to leave kidnapping and do something tangible. Because if you are in Abia and you're a blessed person, because other people are blessed and you use their talent, you must find something that you'll be doing to earn a living. So that is why we have security today, that our people are determined. We are very determined. We are very determined to make sure that we combat insecurity. We are very determined to make sure that our people are safe. We are very determined to make sure the property of every person living in Abia State is safe. We are very determined to make sure that investors come here. We are very determined to make sure that contractors come here and work for us to develop Abia. And we cannot do that when there is insecurity.
Thank you, Your Excellency.
Thank you, brother.
We are about to wind up this interview. The last question is, can you give us a summary of the employment and unemployment index of Abia State before and after you took office as governor? And do you have anything else to tell Abians and the world about your administration?
Sure. When I came on board, unemployment was at its climax. And I can confidently tell you that I ascribe the rate of unemployment to the insecurity that we had in Abia that time. Because many of these boys have come out from school. Majority of them are graduates. They are not doing anything. No job for them. And they are not ready to suffer themselves. They wanted money. We have to have money to live. And they found it in kidnapping, which they learnt from somewhere else, where it was giving them big money. And they learned it quickly. You know, Abians can learn things very quickly. They learned it quickly, and every person went into kidnapping. You can imagine when somebody, one small boy can kidnap one big man and use the phone and tell the parents or the relations to bring 50 million. And during negotiation, it may end up at 20. Within how many hours, you have made 20 million. It became a lucrative business, and it was attracting unemployed people. It became a factory for unemployed people. And we noticed that and said, this will be dangerous. That these boys who are doing this kidnapping and armed robbery, if we provide for them in terms of employment, that it will decrease the rate of kidnapping and armed robbery in Abia State. That we did. Because when there was kidnapping, we had a parley. We discussed with these kidnappers. We wanted to try amnesty. They came. And they told us why most of them went into kidnapping. Some had family problems. But majority of them said unemployment. We said, okay, what we do is to tackle unemployment headlong. We gave out 4,500 employment opportunities to youths. Told them to come out. Come, we have a register. Every month, this is how much we'll be giving you. Because if you have money, you'll not be disturbing others. It's only when you don't have, and except you are a hardened criminal. 4,500 initial. And when you look at it, it helped in reducing armed robbery and kidnapping. We now opened up a rubber estate. We have a rubber estate very close to Alai at Ozraba, owned by government, that have been moribund. We entered into partnership with Imoni. Imoni is a reputable company noted for rubber estates. And they started managing the estates for us. They gave employment to 1,000 people on the spot. That also attracted a lot of people who were in the unemployment market, and that reduced the number and reduced crime. We now went into a palm estate at Ohambele in Okwa East. Entered into partnership with Shandi, a foreign company that manages palm estates. They employed 550 on the spot. That reduced the rate of unemployment. We now went in and opened liberation farms, what we call liberation farms. In every senatorial zone, we acquire land and open up a farm estate managed by government. The one we opened in Okigbe is in Oka West. That one employed 50 people on the spot for cassava. There's one in Lodundume for cocoa and cassava and palm. There's another one we want to establish in Iswato and Uzwabam for palm, cassava and allied products. These farm settlements have employed our people. And immediately kidnapping reduced. Construction companies started coming in. And for sure they will need manpower. And they will not go to heaven or hell to take the manpower. They will recruit the manpower from catchment areas where they are working. And our boys and girls are all working there. That also reduced manpower. Reduced the issue of unemployment. The place we went today, like the market I told you, that is being done by Greenfield. The people who are working there are from all from this area. It is employment that has been provided for them. So these are areas that we are helping to reduce unemployment. That is not all. In every local government, we have a skills acquisition center, which I built through the local government system. I gave every local government chairman 60 million, 60 times 17. 60 million each local government to build a skills acquisition center, which they built. We have one here at Ogurbele Art, very close to the Central Bank. That one was built by First Lady. Skills Acquisition Center. They are not empty, they are not for fancy. These are acquisition centers where we recruit our youths, train them in skills. If you go there, you see what they are doing. Tailoring, shoemaking, leather works, hairdressing, fish farm, all those things that you can use to make a living. We get experts who train them. Every 6 months, you graduate some of them, 500. Last time we graduated 500 from the Skills Acquisition Center in Umuahia. On top of those who are graduating from other skill acquisition centers in the local government. And not that you graduate them and leave them. On the day of graduation, you empower them by giving them the tools. If the man has learned barbering, you buy barbering equipment and give him money to go and start. If the man has learned shoemaking, you buy the equipment and give him money to start. That we are doing. And it is helping us to reduce the rate of unemployment. And by so doing, criminality is coming down. Kidnapping is going permanently. So these are the ways. And we want to sustain it. Because if we sustain it, by the time you come to Abia next year, you won't hear of, they kidnapped somebody there. No. And now, as we are talking, if we hear of any kidnapping incident, give the security agencies 24 hours. 24 hours, they'll bring back the person. Just 24 hours, they bring back the person. Because we now have kidnapping, it escalated. You know, government wasn't prepared because the equipment and other things, they weren't there. But now we have the equipment, we have the manpower, trained manpower. So we are matching them with the equipment and the manpower. So just kidnap let any kidnapper try. 24 hours, you see the man come back. Either come back on his own, or the security agencies will bring him back without paying any ransom. It has happened. And you see, you were here throughout the Christmas. Of all the Christmas periods that we have had, this is one of the safest. Where you didn't hear stories of kidnapping here, armed robbery here, this has happened here, this has happened here. It's because government is working. That's it. And this kidnapping issue now has brought about the establishment. Before, there wasn't any military cantonment in Abia State. None. The nearest was Owerri, where you have the artillery brigade. The next one was Enugu and Ebonyi State. But today, we have a brigade in Ohafia, in Goodluck Jonathan Barracks, where the military is resident. And they have their camps scattered everywhere in Abia State. Scattered in every local government area you go, you have their feeling. The same thing with the police. So that you have to have this security because they are the people who are trained for these things. So with their presence everywhere, it has enhanced security. It has.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for granting us this interview.
Thank you, brother.
And this brings the interview to an end.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. I thank you. Let me thank you once more for finding time to